to have you here. This will be an opportunity for us to navigate through uncertainty topics and also to learn that change is a catalyst to growth and also for success. Let's take a moment to introduce our amazing speakers today. The first one is Didi. Didi Walsh is a software veteran. She's a skier and also a donut eater. She has a tremendous passion for technology and skiing and also for donuts. And she loves helping others in any way she can. If you're interested in or looking for opportunities to increase your visibility in your career, there is a good chance Didi is doing volunteer work in any organization that can help you with this goal. So don't be afraid to reach out to her because she's a remote worker in her basement looking for human connection. And our second special guest and speaker is Wanda. Wanda works as a software developer, primarily focused on web development for about 13 years. Currently, he serves as project lead, tech lead, and with each sprint, he learns something new, personally, professionally, and also for his team. His hobbies are riding his motorcycle and also watching Formula One. His favorite quote is, being more productive doesn't mean working longer. And I want to thank our speakers for taking the time to share today's topic, that is, change is the only constant, managing uncertainty. Before we start, I want to remind three important points. The first point is that we will take your questions or your comments at the end of the talk. So don't be afraid to type it into the chat box at the end or raise your hand. The second one is that your voice truly matters for us. So we will send a form with a couple of questions to gather feedback. Please complete it before you end this call. We will send it at the end too. And for those that will stay until the end of this call, will participate in an Amazon card raffle. So the more talks you attend, the more chances for you to win it. All right. So Wendy and Didi, the room is yours. Thank you for this talk.
Thank you for that intro. We appreciate it. We're going to start with a Mentimeter. Now, one of the big changes that as a Mobilize employee that I've had to get used to is I have my Mobilize account and my Gap account, and of course all the other account, your Gmail account. So if something goes wrong, it's not me, it's my account. So it is me though. But anyway, we're going to start with a Mentimeter. So I need to share my screen. And Juan, feel free to say anything. Oh, am I supposed to take over from you, Juan? So I'll share now. Okay. Can you see my screen?
To answer any question. We are doing like something like an ice breaking. We want to know your deepest fears. How are you feeling like? What you identified with? And we're going beyond with the presentation, of course. So let's start. Be participative. Go to menti.com and we're going to share the link, the QR code, and the code in a few seconds.
And I think the QR code only works when you have an iPhone for some reason. Okay.
You can still use manually the code. Sorry, Android users. I'm an Android user, so I feel you.
Juan David, you can stop sharing in order for Didi shares her screen.
There it is. Is Didi already sharing her screen?
No, yet we can't see it. Didi, can you hear us?
Looks like not.
I think she has network connection issues. Can you share it, Wanda?
Yeah,
it's sort of gone.
She already said.
This is uncertainty. So we're dealing with it. We're navigating
We're managing
through
uncertainty.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah,
Wanda, do you have
only
the
part
link?
of the show.
Yeah.
Part- yeah. Start managing that uncertainty here. Unfortunately, I don't have the Menti slides right now.
Okay, so let's go ahead with the presentation and we will present the Menti question after. It's okay for you?
I think let's
All
do
right.
twice a little bit while while she's back. So let me share my tab again.
I will let you know when we can sit. Yes, we can see it. It's in the first
Okay.
slide.
Okay, so we go solo this time, but once we get Didi back, we're going
You will
back to
both
the regular
will
thing
work.
that we got prepared. Good. So as you can see, change is the only constant here, and we're going to focus on how can we manage the uncertainty here. And this is a pretty common thing. That's why actually the only thing that we can make sure after that we are actually die at any moment, not a happy thing, is that anything is going to change at any moment, probably more soon than you think. So let's start with that. We are going to follow the presentation, the talk this way. You already know us, you already know Didi and all of his amazing experience. You already know me, and we're going to go with some details at the end. It looks like Didi is back, but I'm not sure if she can share the Menti presentation. We can start a bit. Can you?
You're
You're
muted,
muted.
Didi.
No ways. Let's keep it going.
Okay, sorry
So,
about that. I'm on my phone
go.
now.
We're managing the uncertainty here.
All right, sorry.
All right. Sorry, guys, girls. No quiz for today, but no worries. Let's imagine this. Use your imagination, not the Menti thing. But what would you do if tomorrow your delivery manager gets to you or your boss, if you are a delivery manager, so the person that is above you, and says, you know what, it looks like we are moving the entire team to a completely different project with a completely different tech stack, and the project is not new. We need to retake something that another team is taking to, and they have been working in that for months, and now you are taking it. So how would you handle that? I'm pretty sure that there is a lot of uncertainty there. Quite sure. No
Or
panic.
or another scenario if your company gets acquired.
We have exactly the case of Didi here when their company is getting or was actually acquired by Gap. And that is a lot of things that you need to take into account as well. There is a lot of certainty. You don't know how it is going to go. You don't know if it is going to do good for the employees, if it is going well for the client, for the customers, for your team, etc. So that's a little bit quiz. Try to think about it. I know that you're feeling here. Your heart rate is increasing. You say, I don't know what I'm going to do. So we are going to navigate you through the entire process, how you are going to feel that, and especially how you're going to face that and go out of this and overcome all the entire process. So we are going to talk about how you can successfully navigate the change, how to prepare for the future situations, for the uncertainty and the change, some strategies, and of course, including others. This is even the most important thing, including the others in the process, because it is not only you, it is your team, it is the customer, it is the other people that is bringing the project to you, it is the other company that is acquiring you, your company, all of that. So let's start. And let's go with the navigating the change. So Didi, do you want to go back to the original, to that original format?
Yeah, so Juan David, who one part about even though getting having your company get acquired is a very stressful thing and is a huge change. One of the bonuses is getting to meet all of the great people and getting to work with Juan David has been a huge bonus for me. So even though you think, oh my gosh, I had so many I was so worried about so many things. The upside has just been so great. And thank you, Juan David, for being a total pleasure to work with. So Juan David, let me ask you, I'm going to ask you some questions and you tell me how, how you've navigated change. So what parts of your personality have made it hard or even negative for others to deal with change and uncertainty?
Right. I have a secret to share with you. The example that I just used a few seconds ago actually happened to me and my team. From one day to the other, we were changing the project, we were changing the tech stack, we were moving from Scrum Band to pure Scrum, we changed the product owner, the Scrum Master, all of that. I will guarantee you that doesn't feel good, but actually that's the reason why this presentation exists. So everything, if you want it or not, starts with you. And even when there are some things that we feel like negative, so the reason why the negative word is struck is because it is not negative at all. It is actually normal. We feel a little bit weird, we feel down, we feel wrong, but it is normal. It is part of the circle. Giancarlo is part of my team actually, so he feel it. And well, the first thing that you say, oh my God, I don't know if I want this. What is going my team to say? How is that project going to us? I don't like changes. I think that I want to quit. I'm going to say to the delivery manager that I want to change to another project. Gap has some kind of program where I can change the project or something like that. So I think I'm going that way. I want to work for Gap, but not for my client because they are changing things all the time. So, oh my God, what I'm going to do? So yeah, that is exactly the negative, once again, quotations there, because it's normal. So don't worry, it's part of the process to feel all of that. So don't feel bad for feeling bad because it's double worse. So take your time, go to you, then you can worry a little bit about the other things. But first, take care of you, your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, and then try to calm down. So yeah, essentially, when you have those problems, you need to focus on you for the beginning, just a little bit at least, and then you can start thinking clearly. So your ego is clearly something that's going to play there. Normally, the ego is something with a negative connotation around the world, and you can ask, oh, the ego is the worst thing, but it is good to have an ego and know what is affecting you regarding your ego. If you're feeling attacked, really, because they're changing the project, is that bad? Really? Or it's just because you don't like things moving around and nobody asked me why, nobody tell me that we're going to change that? Well, probably they even didn't have to ask you. They just made a decision, and probably, as we are going to see in a few slides, it's not that bad. So your ego is under control. You don't feel attacked by the notice, by the information, and then you hold on. And then you start thinking of your fears. What happens if we cannot change to the new technologies? What happens if I don't know anything about JavaScript and we need a lot of JavaScript and I only love PHP? I don't want to get away of that. Sorry, those are your fears, but probably you are getting screwed in your own because actually you are perfectly capable to learn new things. And that's actually a new opportunity. But we're going to talk about that in a few slides. So you're not screwed at all. Actually, there are a lot of new opportunities, but no worries. It is normal to feel like that. You say, okay, we are finished. Probably they are changing us because we are not a good team, because we are doing that wrong. So they want to move us to the worst possible project they have or something like that. No, that is not true. That's only your fears, your ego, and your insecurities talking about you. So no worries. That's the negative part that definitely is making part of the navigating uncertainty.
That's great. And I think what I really take away from a lot of what you're saying is, don't take it personally. And I love that that's what you're, um, so many people think that it's you want to say, oh, something bad is going to happen to me because you're taking it personally, and it's very rarely personal. So if you can kind of hang in there, you'll realize that things will ultimately be okay for you. And so I think my next question, and of course I don't have our questions anymore because I lost my internet. But what are the talk to me a little bit more about the positive parts of your personality that help you, and in essence, what are those parts that can help others as well, and what can people take away that are the positive ways that you can contribute?
Yeah, probably one of the most positive things that I had was the support from my delivery manager. And he said, hey, you know what? That's a good thing, actually, because, hey, man, why you didn't tell me what's happening here? You already know that. Why did you share that information with me? And he said, well, because that is a good news. So I said, what? And well, the positive things is once you reach people, they can probably send you in the right direction. And the good thing here is we need to assume the best. And we probably can do the best that we can. We already did it. We were doing in a new project, creating this from scratch. We did it that good that the customer, the client, wanted us to work in a new project, a different project, not new, but different project, that we probably want to go and leverage to the new level of quality. So actually, that was not something like, hi, why are they doing this to us? Actually, they are doing that to us because they trust our kind of work. So once you get clear that and you change your mindset to a positive things, you focus on, hey, you know what? We are learning. We are going to learn new things. You focus on the growth and the learning in the future because the other project maybe was getting to an end. So yeah, you need actually to be thankful that you are working in a new thing. You're still working, you're still growing, you're still learning new things. And well, change keeps things interesting. You actually stop getting bored because, oh yeah, I already know how to do it. It's going to take 2 hours. I'm gonna do that right now. And that's all. After you say, man, I really don't know how to do it. I need to learn how to do it. We need to investigate. We need to meet. So that sounds hard. That sounds something that is time consuming. It is actually, but definitely it is something that's helping you to grow. So in the part of the personality, it helps to be adaptive, to stop getting into yourself now. I know it's normal. I already said it is part of the process, but now you need to see in the future, a good future. You need to be positive. You need to start, I know, and my team is going to change the tech stack. They don't like changes. Really? Or it's only you? So once again, focus on the positive things. You are going to learn. You are going to grow. Not only you, I mean, your entire team is going to increase their skills, their experiences, their capabilities to face new challenges. And that's absolutely amazing. It's not easy, definitely, but it's the best way to go. It's that good mindset. It's the part of your personality that you probably want to leverage to get into that specific situation in that positive way.
I love that. And what I really love, so one thing that most of you will probably go through in your career is that you will be, if not now, at some point, the leader that implements the change. I was on the mobilized leadership team that drove the acquisition, and had to talk with people and tell people and make that change. And it's very hard to disrupt people's lives, impart this information. And I have to say that the people who I really appreciated were the individuals like Juan David who embraced the change and helped us to positively communicate it, and also help to move it forward. The truth is that our typical employee, there was really nothing they could do. The change happened, the acquisition happened, and they were told. And so the folks who embraced it and really helped us to integrate with GAP in a positive way. I have to say that not only do I think that will help their career and that they'll become, the future leaders of GAP, but I think for them mentally, it was probably a good step for them as well. So Juan David, let me ask you this. You've talked about the negative, the positive. What would you do different if you could do it all over again? How would you change your reaction to change?
Yeah, here is the actual value of going through this entire process is what you learn and what you're probably gonna do differently in the next situation that you face. Actually, that was the first time for me and my team to go through this kind of difficult process. So I will definitely change different things. First thing is I started thinking that that was something like personal, not only for me, for my team. What I said at the beginning, oh, they are trying to change that because we were doing that good or something like that. No, actually, the correct mindset was to say, hey, they are changing us because we delivered so good value to that initial project that we want to do that the same in a different project because we want our quality and guarantees to that specific project, and that is what we are doing. So assume the best from the beginning. Don't think that people is doing that because they don't like you or don't like your team or don't like GAP or something like that. That's normally not the thing. It's probably the opposite. So don't be defensive. And we will. And we did, actually. We were pretty offensive. Maybe we're still being a little bit, not that much. But we say, oh, no, we don't want that. No, we don't want all of that meetings because we were doing only 2 meetings per week. Now we have like 5 and we don't like it. Please change it and change that. We want to keep exactly the same. You already changed the project. Don't get more meetings for us. And yeah, meetings is a little bit difficult, time consuming, but we can't change it. That's the thing. It's something that happened and was impossible to change. I personally go through that and say, hey, please stop doing all of that reunions, all of that meetings. We don't want that. People is going to hate it. We're not going to have enough time to work. That's a little bit true because, well, we need to divide our attention within the meetings, but we are finding value in some of those meetings and we are getting adapted to it. So don't be defensive. And this is the third part, show empathy. Because, yeah, the way as you are probably living, facing, embracing the process is not the same for your teammates. And very important because it is not only about you and your team, it is about the other people, the customer, the company that is acquiring you. How are they feeling that? Maybe they are not feeling that good with that change. Maybe they are not feeling good with you saying, hey, please start with the meetings or something like that. So you need to be empathetic here and try to think about how well everyone around the process feeling and try to find bridges and build structures to connect again, to reconnect actually if the connections were original, and try to adapt to the process. And pretty important, reach out to support your delivery manager, the product owner, the engineer manager, something like that, that is giving you insights, precise information about the process. Why is this happening? Why would you like to ask? Why are you doing this? Or what are you expecting from us during this change? And then you start grabbing positive information that is valuable for you, and then you keep open for learning. Once, and if I can recap that in one specific phrase, it is embrace the change and be positive. Because if you do that, that's gonna be pretty different and you're not gonna suffer. Even suffering in the beginning is quite normal if it is the first time for you. So don't feel bad about it if you were there or if you're gonna be. At any moment you're gonna be. But if you feel positive, you feel confident about you, about your team, about the project, about the customer, the client, and all of that, you're gonna be good and you're gonna be great in that specific process.
I love that because the truth is that at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. And we all go through this. Everybody goes through the same emotions. Everybody goes through the same insecurities. And in the case of like big changes, everybody's feeling very similarly, the same insecurity. So I love that we're all in this together, and especially show empathy. I think that's not only will that help you, but helping other people often makes you feel better as well.
And now that we are talking about this thing, I think that there's no one better than you to talk about this specific topic is what are the ways to prepare for change? I mean, proactively for the uncertainty, the change that you know this coming. You don't know when, but that's gonna happen at any moment. So how can you prepare? How can you embrace that and get in that specific moment?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 points on that slide are exactly what we couldn't distill it down any better, which is the first thing is you almost can't prepare. Understand that it is out of your control. And so I think a lot of times we feel like, there are all these things you should do. If you're like me and you're kind of a control freak about your life and you want to control everything, at this point, you kind of have to give into it and just say, it's out of your control, but work on you, be the best you that you can be. When I was talking with Gap early on, I knew that, I spoke with Joyce and Daryl prior to the acquisition, and I knew that it was up to me to make sure that they felt great about Mobilize. And so I worked very hard on just bringing it every day and making sure that they knew that we were the best acquisition they could ever make. And so I think just bringing it every day, work on you, because that is the one thing you can control. There's very little about this process that I could control, but me, I could. And also staying upbeat and making sure that even though sometimes I felt discouraged, I still had to keep bringing it. But my final point is it's a process, and it's not a linear process, meaning, some days are good and some days are bad. You can think that, each day should get better, and that's not all. We all know that that's not always the case, that some days, just like anything else, you have your good and bad days. And so if I can say nothing else to you, if you can kind of handle ambiguity, which is hard, none of us loves ambiguity. If you can handle ambiguity, you're gonna, and get comfortable with ambiguity and maybe not getting as much direction as you always want. That is your best bet in dealing with change. So again, it's out of your control. It's out of all of our control. Work on you, bring it every day, and be kind to yourself and realize that change is a process.
Absolutely. I think that you have an enormous experience in all of this, not only on changes and managing the uncertainty, but actually in the entire process in the tech industry, you have a huge a nervous experience of this. You're beyond any of us probably. And that makes space for the following question, which is how can you actually, what are the strategies that you can employ to manage change and the uncertainty actually? Because I know you have been there probably many times. That was my first time. So probably you already have an entire process. You maybe have a secret document where you have all of that
Right,
in
right.
your mind.
Well, I want to tell one story about when the acquisition was happening and it was going through, and our team, the mobilized team, was obviously very nervous about everything. And I felt a lot of pressure to make things good for our team, of course. And I had been working with Gap on some offer letters, and they hadn't sent them to us. And they had said we'd get them by a certain date. And so I reached out to Gap and I said, I was a little bit frustrated. And I said, where are the offer letters? Well, it turned out the reason they hadn't gone out was because I screwed up and hadn't responded to something. And so it was my fault that the offer letters hadn't gone out yet. And so, not only did I have to say to Gap, oh, sorry, I also had to tell my team, it's my fault. But that's not the total story, because I went to Daryl, if you know Daryl Worsham, I went to him and I said, because I had been a little bit salty about the offer letters, and I went to him and apologized. And he said something to me that has really stuck with me, which is, you need to have more grace with yourself, and you need to have more grace with others. And that stuck with me because that was kind of the mantra that I tried to keep throughout the rest of the process, which is not only having grace for everyone else. After that, when I felt like something wasn't going the way that I thought it should, I tried to be very patient with the people I was dealing with, and to make sure that I understood that they had a lot of things going on too. And also to have that grace with myself, because I made mistakes as well, but I didn't need to be so hard on myself. I was trying as hard as I could. So again, if you can, I love that philosophy, and I hope that we can all have grace with ourselves and grace for others. So the strategy, so that isn't on that slide, but the strategies, I think that really a lot of times we tend to be so self-critical, and we kind of lash out. If you're like me, you lash out. And so try to be self-aware, because that will give you the ability to, if you're self-aware, obviously, then you can accept your weaknesses and not take it out on others, and you can understand how you're operating. And when you get feedback from others, you're not defensive. So if you can be self-aware about where you're at, I think that's a big step. And then we talk about identifying your boundaries. That's a big one. Any company that you're at will take as much as you give. So make sure that you don't give so much that you don't leave enough for yourself. And that's a really hard thing to do, because we all do want to be so good and give to everyone else, but make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and that you don't cross boundaries that make it so that either you're too empathetic and in allowing other people to be weak. So make sure you understand what your personal boundaries, and again, focus on what's important. And what's important is the business. And the business is made up of a bunch of people, and delivering results. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about what makes each of us successful. So focus on that. And then again, be patient, which is hard for me. I keep getting feedback from my new manager, slow down, be patient. And that is a hard one for me because I just want to move forward and I want everyone to get out of my way. So if I ever do, if I'm ever impatient with you, feel free to tell me, be patient, slow down. And then if I will say that the only thing that got me through the worst parts of this acquisition, which there were a lot of hard parts on the, just getting the negotiation. I had to do a lot of the negotiations with the other company that acquired us, and it was very hard. And if I didn't have, it was right in the heart of ski season. And if I hadn't gotten to ski we have night skiing here in Seattle. So if I hadn't gotten to leave my office at 6 p.m. and go skiing 3 nights a week, I think I would have gone crazy. So take time for you and know, I think we all know what makes ourselves happy. And what makes me happy is skiing. So, those are the big ones to really keep in mind. But again, if you can think about nothing else, it's that we're all going through this, and make sure to give yourself grace in change. So if you do have, a really negative reaction to change, it's not terrible. It's just part of the process. Don't be so hard on yourself, but try to turn that energy into something positive. What do you think of that one?
Absolutely agree. I think that if you try to keep focused on people and your feelings, your emotions, you're pretty aware of that. And then, once you are under control, because you first need to take care of that, like in the airplanes, you first get your mask and then you help others to get the mask. Same here. You take care of yourself, take your time, and then you go for the others. Still, the process is important. The business is important, of course. Everything is important normally, but the people behind all of that is the thing that is moving all of that. So you need to take care of the people. You need to be empathetic. You need to focus on what's important. Be patient with yourself, with the others, with the process, because as we already said, this is a process. So what do you think, Didi, if we go for the last part and probably the most important here, which is the uncertainty and including others? Because, this is about people. The gap is about people. Mobilize about people. So let's go this way. I want to start asking you, then you can ask me, and we can finish with that. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So let's go with tips. How are you handling and maintaining a good position in the business, in the project, and personally in your life balance when you are handling this kind of difficult process like an acquisition, changing entirely the project, and many other possible examples?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There is nothing more important than the people. And here's what I will say to all of you again. There's going to come a time in your life, if it hasn't, even if it hasn't already happened, where you're the one who has to drive the change. And I think a lot of times change happens to you, but sometimes you're going to be the change that happens to other people. And so more than anything, think about how this, the change in your life impacted you. And now think about how you can apply that as a leader when you're driving that change. And that was the single most important thing that I had to keep in mind as I was working on our acquisition, and as we were building the plan, because we knew that so many people, this would blow up their world. And even though we wanted to think that it wouldn't, we knew that it would. And so remember that, again, I just kept having to think about, when I've had a big change, what helped me? What are the things that, what are the messages that our people need to hear, and how do they need to be able to process this? So again, well, it's even more than empathy. It's really applying all of your experience that you've had and now apply it to other people so that you can be the leader who drives change, and that you're someone who everyone looks to as the person that will help them through it. So that's kind of my advice. What do you think, Wendy V? How would you make that better, or like, what's your
Yeah,
advice?
I think that the image that we have in the slide is perfect for this. Even when you don't feel it, all the changes, not necessarily positive, but normally they are. And even if they not, you need to face it. You need to go and adapt to it. But at the beginning, they normally don't feel positive. But then after the time, you feel it. So during the process, definitely you are not alone, even when you feel it. I know, I have been there. Didi has been there. You feel like you're alone, even you forget to share some things or something like that. But eventually, you start reaching people, the people around you. And I don't mean only in your project, in your company, even your family, even your friends. Get surrounded by people, try to share what you're feeling, get around you, and you will be good. And even you are going to realize that it's not that bad as you think. You are normally in your own bubble and you feel like it is the worst thing that is happening. And then you realize, oh, you know what? Everyone is going through changes every single day. So I think that is not that bad at all. So if you are not alone, if you're trying to surround with any kind of people close to you, you are going to feel even better sharing the information and seeing how the others are not feeling that way as you. And well, if you are in that position, definitely you need to be a leader and encourage the others to go take the positive of specific situations, because it's normal. You already go through the process of feeling down, feeling attacked personally. So probably the other teammates, the other parts of the process are feeling a little bit the same. So it is your turn to say same, like Daryl did with you. Don't be hard with yourself. Try to calm down, be patient. We are good. This is something that we are taking, and we are going beyond the result of this. We already did it before, and we are going to do that again and even better. So think beyond the meta circle. I already basically repeat the bullet points that we have there, but if I want to summarize that once again in a single phrase, it is about people. Get around. It is about the mind. It is your brain trying to trick you out, saying, "I don't like changes, leave me alone," or something like that. Don't worry. It is normal. You're gonna be there, and you are gonna do it great, quite probably, and major part of the times.
I love that. And if I can, if there's nothing else we can impart to you, it is, especially at Gap, you're not alone. And there are so many resources that are here at Gap. I've worked at a number of companies in my career, and I've been in tech for since I was 19 years old. And I'm not going to tell. Oh, I guess I could tell you that was 1981. So I've been in tech for a while, and I have never met a company or been involved with a company that was quite like Gap. It's a unique experience, and I hope that everyone can appreciate. Nothing lasts forever, and so I don't know how long I'll work for. That I'll be at Gap, but I sure am enjoying it, and I'm trying to appreciate every single day, because I've never worked for a company that cared more and that put people in prioritized people like Gap does. So you're not alone, especially here, you're not alone. And so I would take every opportunity to learn, apply any change that is happening to you at Gap. I would take every opportunity to talk with others, because I've never worked in a more embracing environment than this one.
Absolutely. I cannot be more agree with that, actually. So, people, thank you so much for being here. Once again, these are your hosts. Didi is part of Mobilize Yet, is part of GAP as well. And here I am. I'm a software engineer, project lead as well, facing a lot of uncertainty currently, changes all going around. Thank you so much for being here. And now it is your turn. It is your time for questions, comments, feedback. Go ahead with that. What do you think?
Capsters, you could raise your hand or you could type into the chat box your questions or your comment. Feel free.
Too bad I can't. I wonder if I could get online, because then I could do the Mentimeter.
That's a good
Let's
thing,
try.
actually. We can do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see if I can join it again. Sorry, everyone, and I apologize. I'm at a hotel today because we're at an offsite, and of course, the internet went down as soon as this started, because isn't that what's supposed to happen in every presentation you do? In fact, many years ago, I worked at Microsoft, and I had to do a demo for Bill Gates for his keynote. And this is like a million years ago. None of you were born back then when I had to do this. And it was just a few-minute demo, and it had gone perfectly, flawlessly every single time. And you'll never guess what happened when I was in front of an audience of 500 people and Bill Gates. Windows rebooted. So
That's not bad for Windows.
yep. That was,
At least that was not a blue screen.
Eddie, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for your talks. One question: how you, as a leader, would help the team to overcome the resistance to change? Because it's something normal, but what things would you recommend? Okay, I'm a leader. How I can help to my team to overcome that normal resistance or initial resistance to change?
I'm gonna jump first with that, and Didi can go. Or do you want to
Go
go
ahead.
first, Didi?
I think you're the wiser one.
And I don't think so. Not more than you, actually. But go ahead. So, that worked for me was to try to switch the mindset to a positive thing. Trying to say, hey, I was not lying, actually. That was true, because there are always different ways to see things. And it was a positive thing to say, hey, we are changing this, but that we are doing this because they trust us, because they want us to give value, to bring our quality and our good work for this. So we are going to make shine this new project in the good way. So we are giving them a purpose. We are getting this new weird project, and we are going to transform it in a new and amazing thing that they are going to love in the same way as we did for the previous project. So that's going to change their mindset. And then try to listen to them individually. How are you feeling? What do you need from me? That's something that I can do to make that better for you? Do we need a meeting to talk about that? A lot of meetings for people to get talking about things. They even normally pop up during the reunions, the meetings of the people, the team, when they just start talking about, I don't know, I don't like the meetings, I don't like this. Let them talk, let them to go through the process, externalize that for all of us. And then we say, yeah, that's unfortunately a thing that we can't change. We did our best effort, but we didn't make it. So we are going to probably try to adapt to that. That is something that we can possibly adapt to it, try to negotiate something. That is not even a final word always, but still we need to accept something. So a lot of talking, a lot to be there for the people and try to be positive and change the mindset.
I would also add that you're, depending on the change, your folks have to go through it. And so some of it, you just have to let them feel it and go through it and be patient with them. You know, I had to communicate something fairly negatively to someone, a negative piece of news to someone yesterday. And his first reaction was very negative, and he actually got mad at me, and that is what it is. Like people have to go through that, and we have to understand that. We're all emotional and passionate. That's what makes software and tech people what we are, is that we are often, we feel all these things because we're loving what we're doing. And so as a result, we're going to feel a lot when there's a change that we don't want. And so that you just have to feel it and go through it, and be patient with people as they go through that journey.
Didi, if you let me, I want to add 2 comments about that question. It would be, find a group of early adopters, like in the same distribution curve, the bell, find that 15% that will adopt your new idea. And also find those detractors, because when a detractor compared to a promoter is more powerful than a group of promoters. So that would be a good approach too.
I love that. Thank you for jumping in with that. That's so, especially that last one is so good. I'm always the positive person. So mine counts for less than the grumpy person. I love my grumpy people.
It happens. Did the Menti question work?
I think so. Do you want me to try it again? Sorry, everyone, again. In addition to the fact that I'm trying to use 5,000 different accounts, I'm also
Wanda, could you please stop sharing your screen? Thank you.
Okay, let me find this. Okay. Okay, you're probably all seeing yourselves. Now do you see the Mentimeter?
Yes, we do.
Great, because the last time I showed it, I lost you, and I kept talking, and then afterward realized you were gone.
It would happen again.
It's impossible Windows to reboot again, right?
Right. I know. Yeah, it's awkward. Okay, so has everybody? Let me know when I should move forward. Oh, and it's not showing me how to move forward. Okay, can I move forward yet?
We have like 16 people at least yet. So yeah, I think that we can move it.
All right. Okay, what is your deepest fear? And then I think, isn't it supposed to populate? Oh, never mind. What? No, oh, that's a good one. Dying alone. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Are you guys seeing the answers?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the monkey covering your eyes is, but I like it. Let's see, a lot of isolation, not belonging, fail. I still like the no gravity one. Disappointing someone, that's a big one. Death, heights. So that person would not like my favorite sport of skiing. Missing opportunities. Dogs? Who put dogs? Fail to raise good people. That's a good one. Screw it up. Not fulfill my
Too many
dream.
changes at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect talk for you.
Yep. All right. Do we think we have all of them, or should I move on to the next, or keep going? Dying alone. That one would be sad. All right. I'm going to go to the next one. Is that okay?
Let's go.
Yep.
Yes.
What emoji best describes you? And you're supposed to answer an emoji. Oh, I didn't think about the fact that people might not be doing this on their phone. So if you don't have an emoji, I guess you could type an emoji. You could just. Laughing emoji, I like that. Smiling. Avocado. I like that. What's that little blue one? Oh, hugging. I like that. Care. Okay, I know this is sort of irreverent, but has anyone noticed there's a middle finger emoji in Slack? I haven't used it, but I thought that was funny. Stuck out tongue, winking. All right. Fire, heart.
We have 1 more minute for
All
this
right.
call. Didi, we're running out of time.
Do you want me to go to the next one or?
Yes, please.
end?
Yeah, the
That's
last one.
All right. The last one. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Hang on. Pick a superpower. Oh, evil genius. I agree. I like that one. Flying. I think that, when Mobilize did this at our company meeting, time travel always wins. I think
It's
that's
very
a cool
useful.
one. Yeah.
And it's specific. You can travel to past or to the future, but
Yeah, right. I think the future, like whenever they show those TV shows where they go to dinosaurs, I think that's a bit much. All right. And I guess we're at our end of time.
Right. I will add one more quote to today's talk, and is that life is 10% what happens and 90% a reaction to it. So we didn't expect the technical and the network issues. Sorry for that. Please extend us grace. We will also give grace ourselves as speakers and also as hosts. Don't take personally. This is something that is out of our control. We're aware of our emotions, and we will focus on what's important, that is providing you the best experience in this talk as our special audience. So thank you very much, Titi and Juandi, for sharing this space with us. We would like to remind that at GAP, we embrace feedback. We just sent a form to gather some feedback. We truly value your comments, so please fill it. And we also want to take this opportunity to highlight that this talk is related to the Delivery Manifesto with 2 quotes. The first one is that change is the only constant in life. And the second one is, you snooze, you lose. In Spanish, we would say, camarón que se duerme, se lo lleva la corriente, ¿cierto? If you want to learn more about the manifesto, you can reach out your DM. You can check it in the Learning Hub or the people from the Leadership Code. Everyone who made this far will participate in an Amazon card raffle. Thank you very much again for your time, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Didi and Juandi too.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.